Pause for a second. Hear that quiet voice inside? The one that's tired of the chaos, tired of the lies your mind keeps whispering. That voice led you here, not by accident, but because something inside you is ready to change. Every day your mind throws punches. You're not enough. Why even try? You'll fail again. And like a soldier on the wrong side of the war, you start believing the enemy. But you're not weak. You've just been listening to the wrong voice for too long. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." He ruled an empire. Yet he knew the real war wasn't out there. It's in here. Between the truth of who you are and the poison of who you think you are. The thoughts telling you you're broken, they're just weather. You are not the storm. You are the sky. And today, you remember that. Today, we take back the script. We silence the inner critic. We rewrite the story with 7 truths that will break false beliefs, rebuild self-respect, and teach your mind to serve your strength, not sabotage it. Welcome to Stoic Philosophy Daily, where your story matters. Share your experience or your biggest struggle below. Every comment you leave is a gift. Here, your voice matters. We read with care, answer with heart, and treat your journey as part of our own. This is more than a channel. It is a circle of strength. Type in the comments, "I choose kindness." Share this with someone stuck in the same battle. And if you're ready to win the war within, stay with us, because the battle begins now. 1. The inner critic is not your voice. That harsh voice in your head, the one that cuts you down, mocks your efforts, rewinds your failures like a broken reel, it was never truly yours. Close your eyes and listen again. Whose voice is it, really? Is it your father's disappointment, your mother's fear, a teacher's ridicule, an ex's cruelty? That voice didn't begin in you, it was planted. Carl Jung said it clearly, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." You're not choosing to think negatively. You're echoing a script written by people who never learned to love themselves. Their wounds became your programming, and now, like a looped recording, you replay their doubts with your own voice. But here's the truth, that voice can be replaced. The inner critic speaks in absolutes, always, never, everyone, no one. But real life isn't built on absolutes. "I always fail" is not a fact. It's trauma talking in capital letters. The inner critic sounds confident because it's been rehearsed. But repetition isn't the truth, it's just practice. Think of a child learning to walk. They fall, they try again. Not once do they say, "I'm broken, I'll never get it right." Self-hatred is learned. It's taught, absorbed, and passed down. And you can unlearn it. Try this. When that voice shows up, don't argue with it, just notice. There it is again, that old voice. Then ask, would I speak this way to someone I love? If not, why tolerate it in your own mind? Swap judgment for curiosity. Instead of, why am I like this? Try, what's this teaching me? Instead of, I'm a mess, say, I'm human and healing takes time. It might feel fake at first. But so did self-hatred the first time you heard it. Repetition created that voice. Repetition will rewire it. Your words shape your world. Speak to yourself with grace, and grace becomes your gravity. The voice you feed is the one that grows. Start feeding the one who tells the truth that you're learning, evolving, and worthy of care, especially your own. At Stoic Daily, we believe healing begins with how you speak to yourself. Comment below, I speak to myself with love. What's one judgment you're ready to replace with grace? 2. Stop measuring yourself with someone else's ruler. Comparison is a slow poison. You take one sip, just a scroll, a glance, a thought, and suddenly your entire life feels inadequate. Their smile, their body, their relationship, their success. You see the highlight, you miss the behind the scenes. Theodore Roosevelt warned us, comparison is the thief of joy. But it steals more than joy. It robs you of presence. It turns blessings into burdens. It closes your eyes to your progress because someone else is further ahead. They're running a marathon and you just started. Don't judge your beginning by someone else's halfway point. We rarely compare downward. We always compare up. But you're seeing their mountaintop, not the climb. You don't see the rejections, the panic attacks, the therapy sessions, the nights they almost gave up. All you see is the curated moment. And you use it to invalidate your whole story. Social media didn't invent comparison, but it industrialized it, turned it into a marketplace of illusion. Perfect bodies filtered, relationships romanticized, success exaggerated. You compare your raw footage to their movie trailer and feel like you're failing. Try this. Every time you catch yourself comparing, pause and reflect on the situation. Say, this is a highlight, not the whole story. Then turn inward. Ask, what's one thing I'm proud of right now, no matter how small? Start there. Name it, feel it, own it. Gratitude isn't corny, it's clarity. The Stoics taught us to return to what's in our control. You can't control their timing, privilege, or path. But you can control your focus. You can water your own soil, cheer their win without resenting your own pace. There's enough sunlight for every tree, enough sky for every bird, enough purpose for every soul. You're not behind, you're becoming. You're not less, you're different. Your growth can't be measured with someone else's metrics. At Stoic Daily, we believe your path is sacred and non-repeatable. Drop a comment, I celebrate my unique path. What's one thing you've achieved lately that comparison tried to erase? 3. Your mistake is not your identity. One wrong turn doesn't mean you're lost forever. One broken step doesn't make the entire path invalid. But some of you are still stuck in that moment. One choice, one failure, one regret, and you've mistaken it for who you are. Let's be clear, a mistake is something you did, not something you are. But the mind, when left unchecked, confuses the two. It wraps a single moment in shame and turns it into a lifelong identity. I messed up becomes I ruin everything. I failed once becomes I'm a failure. But that's not the truth, that's trauma in disguise. As Thomas Edison said after failing 10,000 times to invent the light bulb, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's not delusion, that's clarity. Mistakes aren't evidence of weakness. They're proof you dared to try. They're not character flaws. They're data points, experiments, adjustments, evolution in motion. Here's where the trap begins. Shame says, I am bad. Guilt says, I did something bad. One keeps you stuck, the other pulls you forward. The brain remembers pain louder than progress. That's biology, but reflection is a choice. You can override that bias. You can teach your mind to catalog your efforts, not just your errors. Try this. The next time that old memory resurfaces, the one where you said too much, trusted the wrong person, chose recklessly, don't shove it away. Breathe. Say, that was a lesson, not a life sentence. Then ask yourself, what did I learn? What part of me grew stronger because of it? Forgiveness isn't approval, it's release. It's taking the chain off your ankle and saying, I don't have to drag this through every chapter of my life. Stop demanding perfection from yourself. No wise person you admire got there without falling. No success story exists without 1,000 edits. Your life is not a test you failed. It's a manuscript in revision. At Stoic Daily, we believe growth begins the moment you stop confusing your scars with your story. Comment below, I am more than my mistakes. What's one moment you're finally ready to release? 4. You are not a machine, you are enough. You're tired, not only physically, but also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually exhausted. And yet you keep moving because stopping feels dangerous. Slowing down feels like falling behind. Somewhere along the way, you started equating worth with output. How much do you do? How much do you finish? How much do you prove? But you are not a machine. You're a human being, not a human doing. And when you tie your value to constant motion, life becomes a treadmill with no finish line, just quiet exhaustion disguised as ambition. Lao Tzu said, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Trees don't panic, rivers don't rush, seasons don't race. But you wake up and treat peace like it must be earned, like it's a prize for survivors of burnout. That's not growth. That's a collapse waiting to happen." Hustle culture taught you to feel guilty for taking a rest, to say yes when you mean no, to push when you need to pause. But fatigue, anxiety, and tension aren't flaws, they're alarms. And ignored alarms don't go silent. They get louder until your body forces a shutdown, by choice or by collapse. Ask yourself, would you judge your best friend by their productivity? Would you love them less on their tired days? No. Then why do you treat yourself with the cruelty you'd never apply to anyone else? There's a difference between ambition and anxiety. One builds, the other breaks. Learn to tell the difference. Rest is not a luxury, it's a requirement. Try this. Tonight, take 30 minutes to do absolutely nothing productive. No tasks, no checking, no earnings, just be. And when guilt creeps in, ask it, who taught me I have to earn rest? Then ask, what will it cost me if I don't slow down? Here's the paradox. Rest isn't the opposite of productivity. It's the foundation of it. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't create clarity from burnout. So practice the art of enough effort, enough proving, enough pushing. You are already enough, not because of what you finish, but because you exist. Set boundaries, say no, take breaks. Your peace is worth protecting. At Stoic Daily, we believe rest is wisdom, not weakness. Comment below, I am enough without the hustle. What will you choose to release this week for the sake of your peace? 5. Healing isn't linear, but it is real. Healing doesn't move in straight lines. Some days feel like triumph. Others feel like they are collapsing. And the trap we fall into is thinking that progress must be permanent or it doesn't count at all. You have one good week, then the storm comes back. You feel like you've failed. But relapse isn't failure, it's repetition. And repetition is how we deepen, not erase, the healing process. Carl Jung once said, "Healing is making what is unconscious conscious." That doesn't mean you destroy every wound. It means you learn how to carry it differently. Every spiral downward isn't the same pit. It's the same place, seen from a higher level. With more clarity, more strength, more tools, you're not in the same darkness. You're bringing a new light with you this time. Imagine healing like climbing a mountain in circles. The path curves, the view changes, and sometimes it feels like you're back where you started. But you're higher. You breathe easier, you see further. The terrain is familiar, but the version of you walking it is not the same. Bad days don't erase good ones. They don't undo your growth. They test how much you've truly integrated it. Try this. When the old emotions return, grief, fear, and anger, don't panic. Don't say, I'm back to zero. Say, this is part of the path. Ask yourself, what do I know now that I didn't know last time I felt this way? That question alone turns shame into self-awareness. That question is progress. Stop comparing your healing timeline to someone else's highlight reel. Some wounds take months, others take years. None of them makes you weak. They make you human. As Rumi said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. And light doesn't come all at once. It comes in cracks, in soft returns, in imperfect waves. Celebrate the victories no one sees. The day you got out of bed, the moment you didn't numb the pain, the time you asked for help instead of hiding. These are not small, they are sacred. They are proof that even if you're not over it, you're not under it either. You're learning to stand in it and still rise. You don't have to heal perfectly. You have to heal honestly. Give yourself permission to fall apart and still call that progress. Give yourself credit for healing in silence. You're not racing, you're not failing, you're becoming slowly, bravely, imperfectly. At Stoic Daily, we believe that real healing is a spiral-shaped process, not a straight road. Comment below. I trust my healing journey. What's one quiet sign of growth you've seen in yourself this week? 6. Outgrowing is not betrayal. Some people knew the version of you who tolerated less, stayed small, and avoided disruption to keep the peace. But you've changed, and now your evolution makes them uncomfortable. Growth always reveals who's truly in your corner and who was only comfortable with your limitations. Heraclitus said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it is not the same river, and he is not the same man." That includes you. You are allowed to change your mind, change your rhythm, change your circle. Not out of arrogance, but alignment. Not because you're better, but because you're different now. It's hard when love used to flow effortlessly, and now the conversation feels dry, when the place that once lit you up now dims your spirit. When the job that once felt like purpose now feels like a cage. But listen, outgrowing something doesn't make it worthless. It means it served its season, and now you're entering a new one. You can love people and still walk away. You can honor what they gave you and still build boundaries. You can miss them and still move forward. That's not disloyalty, that's maturity, that's self-trust. Growth doesn't require confrontation. Sometimes it's just an energy shift, a quieter presence, a gentle distance. You stop reaching where you're no longer received. Try this. Reflect on what no longer feels aligned. People, places, even parts of yourself. Ask, am I staying out of guilt or growing towards something honest? That question changes everything. You don't owe anyone the version of you they're most comfortable with. You only owe yourself the truth of who you're becoming. Your evolution may make others uncomfortable. Let it. That's not your burden. Your light will challenge those who still hide in the shadows. Your momentum will disrupt those standing still, but you are not responsible for shrinking so that others won't feel small. At Stoic Daily, we believe you don't need permission to evolve. Comment below. I honor my evolution. What part of your life are you ready to outgrow without guilt? 7. The pen is still in your hand. You're here, still breathing and still standing. That alone is proof your story isn't over. You've made it through chapters that tried to bury you, through losses, betrayals, and breakdowns, through nights when your only strength was taking the next breath. And yet, here you are. That's not a weakness. That's power. As F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote, "It's never too late to be whoever you want to be." That quote isn't cute, it's a challenge, a call to stop letting old pain write your future. You're still becoming. You're still the author. The best pages may be the ones you haven't written yet. Low points aren't the end. They're turning points, the places where you choose to rise or retreat. Every closed door has nudged you closer to alignment. Every person who left made space. Every failure redirected your path. Look back. You'll see how the detours built the foundation for something better. Your past isn't a prophecy, it's a chapter. And this moment, this is where the plot shifts. Not because you have everything figured out, but because you're willing to take the next small step forward. Again, and again, and again. The Japanese art of kintsugi teaches us that when something breaks, you don't hide the cracks. Instead, you celebrate them. You fill them with gold. The break becomes part of the beauty. You are the same. Your scars are not a shame. They're evidence. Proof you survived what tried to end you. And that survival, that comeback, is part of your power. Try this. When doubt whispers, "It's too late," answer, "Not for me." When shame says, "You're broken," answer, "I'm rebuilding." When fear asks, "What if I fail again?" answer, "Then I'll rise again." Not all at once, one step, one day, one act of belief at a time. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. The life you want isn't out there waiting. It's in the choice you make right now. To keep writing, to keep becoming, to speak to yourself like someone worth saving, because you are. You're not defined by how many times you've fallen. You're defined by how many times you get back up. And every single time you did. That's not luck, that's warrior energy. The world doesn't need your perfection. It requires your truth, your real story, especially the messy chapters, may be the light that helps someone else find their way out of the dark. The most beautiful mornings often come after the longest nights. And your morning, it's closer than you think. At Stoic Daily, we believe your scars are not signs of weakness. They are signatures of survival. Comment below, "My story continues." What chapter are you ready to write next? You are becoming. You are not your mistakes. Your past does not define you, your fears, or the voices that told you to settle. You don't need permission to start over. You don't need to earn your worth through exhaustion. You are allowed to grow beyond what tried to hold you back. You stayed through this entire video. That says something powerful. It says there's a part of you, no matter how small, that still believes in healing, in change, in yourself. Don't let that part fade. Feed it, protect it. Let it grow into a life you're proud to live. Before you go, do one thing for yourself. Hit like not for us, but as a personal promise. I will no longer live small. Drop your strongest affirmation in the comments. Let it be your anchor and someone else's light. Share this with someone fighting the same invisible battle. And subscribe, because this isn't a one-time message. This is daily work, and you deserve daily reminders of your strength, your peace, your value. Come back here on the hard days. Let these words hold you steady when the storm rises. You are worthy. You are enough. You are becoming. At Stoic Philosophy Daily, we believe progress is sacred and your next chapter is still unwritten. Let's make this the most powerful comment section on YouTube. Type it now. I am worthy. I am enough. I am becoming.
If you're seeking more, discover the full path on my channel, Stoic Philosophy Daily.